So you and I don't know how much Gina was on your radar before this. Are you a fight fan?
No, I don't watch fighting, no. So I didn't know who she was at all.
Not at all?
No.
Really? Okay. So what'd you think then when you heard about who she was? Maybe you looked at some footage of her?
I did. Well, I met Steven Soderbergh, and then he told me about her, and then talked to me about the script. And when I went home, I looked her up on YouTube, and I watched some of her fights, and I was like sort of horrified by what I saw of her in the ring, and then confused by what I saw of her outside of the ring, like her interviews and some of the footage of the weigh-ins. She seemed like a completely different person. And I thought I could see what he was fascinated about, because she was a very gentle person and thoughtful and respectful to her opponents, and none of that usual, being nasty, saying nasty things about the guy you're going to fight, or in this case, the woman you're going to fight. So I could see why she was intriguing. But yet, when you watch her stuff in the ring, she's brutal, she's really capable of some quite extreme aggression. And then so I didn't know quite what to expect when I met her. And I met her the first night with Steven and some of the other actors. I was sort of mesmerised by her because she's beautiful, and she's very gentle and thoughtful and quiet, and you could see her just kind of soaking in this new world that she hadn't been part of before. And I was really taken with her. I think she's amazing. And I like the way she talks about fighting. Because I've gotten to know her and I really like her, and she's a friend, and I've spoken to her about fighting. And the way she talks about it is really interesting. It's never aggressive, and she never talks about trying to hurt people or some kind of pleasure that she derives from hurting people. She talks about it like a kind of spiritual thing. The path through training to the fight is quite like a Zen affair. It's nice to speak to her about it.
And it's actually very truthful of a lot of fighters. A lot of fighters really think that way, which is why they're misunderstood and why it's frustrating, because they're often very much like her. Was there any hesitation on your part, though, working with a novice actor?
No. No, I mean, I work with, you work with first-time actors a lot, because there's going to be young people, you work with kids, they've never acted before. It's just part of, it doesn't make any difference, our responsibility as actors is all shared. Whether you've made 50 movies or none, you still have the same responsibility to flesh out your character, to make him or her work in that story, to work together. And with Gina, there was never felt like I was working with a first-time actor. She was very generous. Open. She worked with you in the scene. I loved working with her a lot. Mm-hmm. And
it's nice to see a woman who I think brings a lot of credibility to the role of an action hero.
Yeah. Well, she like what Steven saw in her that made him want to write this film round about her. Mallory is that in the film. She is a sensitive, thoughtful woman who can kick your head in. It's a nice mix.
And it's kind of hot,
and
right?
It's nice. But it's also true. She's in a situation where she doesn't know what's happening. I play her boss, and I'm trying to have her killed. She doesn't know what's going on, and you see her trying to work things through. And you're not just watching some kind of if it was a guy in that role, you can imagine it would be sort of one note, just a badass guy. And because Gina's got that thoughtful, gentle side to her character, that Mallory has as well. And that's what makes her so incredible in this film, I think.
Has she convinced you to go to a fight?
I'll go to a fight with her. I'll go to a fight if she takes me. Okay. How about
that? Good idea. Thanks, Ewan.
All right, cheers. Thank you very much. Take care. I'm Ewan McGregor. You're watching MMA Heat.